Hey guys, so welcome back. In this video, we'll be trying to solve the problem called Cypher in Codeforces. Okay, so now before I explain this, I highly recommend that all of you read the question at least once, because at first it may be a bit difficult to understand, but once you get the hang of it, it's actually very easy. So I'll be giving you a small summary as to what it is and how it works. Okay, you will be given a lock with n number of wheels. So like you see here, like this lock, for example, has 4 wheels, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, you will be given the final combination of the lock, okay, and the sequence that was done so that the lock reached the final combination. So now the lock is showing 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, let's say for example this is the final sequence of the lock 0, 0, 0, 0, and let's say that the operation that was done for the lock to reach 0, 0, 0, 0 was that we added 1 to all the wheels. Okay, we added 1 to all the wheels. Now we know that if we just add 1 to all the wheels and the sequence becomes 0, 0, 0, 0, it basically means that the initial sequence must be 9, right? Because if we rotate 9 once, you will get 0. Okay, like that is the basic summary of this. Now I'll explain a bit more with this. So now this will basically be your input. Okay, so here you have your first input. Now this basically says the number of wheels on the lock. Okay, so now here 4 basically means your lock has 4 wheels. Okay, I'm like sure you have used one of these locks before. Okay, so this basically means that your wheel has 4 locks, and this is the final sequence of your lock. Okay, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is your final sequence of the lock. Okay, now basically the inputs after that will just show you the operation that was done to the initial sequence to get to the final sequence. So now here it's 4, so you have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So basically the first input like this will say the operations done on the first wheel, the operations done on the first wheel to reach 6. Okay, so now even in this, the first input just shows you the length of the string, which in this case is UU. Now you have to know one thing. U basically means up, which means you're adding, okay, or like you're rotating a number in which it gets added. For example, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, like that. Okay, and D basically means that you're subtracting kind of. So for example, if you rotate the wheel from 9 to 8, 8 to 7, 7 to 6, like that. Okay, so here I'll just write sub. So now here for the first number, that is 6, to some number, okay, we'll just denote that number as x. To some number we did these operations up, which basically means we added 2 to the number. Okay, and our final number was 6. Okay, what does that mean? That basically means that our initial number was 4, right? Means to 4 you did the 2 up operations or the 2 add operations, and you got your final answer as 6, which is the final sequence right here. Now this is just the mathematical way I showed you. There is another way to do this. What you can do is that I mainly just show the mathematical way so that all of you would understand it in a very nice manner. Now in the code, however, what we'll be doing is that here it says UU. Okay, basically we'll take the reverse of this. Okay, now why we do that I'll show you. Let me just delete this real quick. Okay, we will take the reverse of that. Okay, so now here from some number, in this case 4, you add UU. Okay, basically UU means you're adding it once and then the second time, and then you get the number as 6. Now if I say from 6, how do you get 4? you subtract, right? So you do d and you get the number as 4. Basically you just do the reverse operation than the operation given to you. You have to just do the reverse. Okay, so basically in our code we'll have a if statement saying that if the element is u, we have to subtract 1 from the element. Basically we have to do the reverse. Only then can we get the original element, right? So now if it's 6, the first thing is u, so now we'll subtract 1 from 6, it'll come to 5. Then our second element of the string is also u, will again subtract 1, we'll get 4. So now 4 is basically the initial the initial number, right? So like that's the main idea of this, and we'll do that to all the other numbers as well. Okay, and we'll just output them one by one. Now that is just the basic logic behind this, and it's like very easy to understand, like, you know, once you've got the knack. And yeah, that's basically it. Now let's try and code the solution out. So let's try and code the solution out. First thing is I'll be initializing two variables a and b. So now a will basically stand for the number of wheels of the log, and b will be just used to accept elements into our vector. Okay, so I'll be accepting a here, and now time to make a vector int, of course, and I'll just be naming this n. Okay, so just correct this. Okay, after this we'll be making a for loop to enter our elements into the vector. We can just do c in b and inner pushback. Okay, now this is over with. Now we can use two more variables, that is c, which will be an integer, and s. So now I'll just show you what they are used for. If I can take the Google page right here. Now this will be c, okay, which will be the length of the operations done, and the string s will be the string right here. Okay, now we'll be accepting both of them. Let me scroll down. Now what we want to do is we want to loop over the elements of the string. Okay, so for int I equal to 0, I less than a, and I plus. Not necessarily loop over the string, we actually have to loop over the amount of wheels. Okay, so now I'll say like what I mean by that. For the first wheel we have these two, right, like this integer and this string. Similarly for the second wheel we have this integer and this string, right, and so on. So basically we'll be using this loop so as to reach all the wheels. Okay, so we'll basically go from the first wheel up till the last wheel. So now we'll have, okay, now here we'll again be accepting the string s, okay, and we'll also be accepting, okay, actually I have to accept string second. First we have to accept c, right, because the length of the string comes first. Now after this we'll have another for loop. Now this will be the for loop that will be used to loop inside the string. Okay, basically to go through every element of the string we'll be using this particular j loop. Now if you remember from my explanation, if the element is j, if the element is u, we'll have to subtract, right? But here more than one case will come. The first case is if the element, which is n of I, okay, like I basically stands for the first element or the first wheel, so we'll be using n of I here because n is our vector and the first element of the vector will of course stand for the first wheel. Now if n of I will be equal to 0, we can just do it as n of I equal to 9, because if we leave this along with the normal case, what happens is that 0 minus 1 is minus 1, so it'll go to minus 1, but we really don't want that, right? Else we can just do n of I minus minus. So for example from 8 to 7 or 7 to 6, 6 to 5 and so on. Okay, so like the 0 is just one exceptional case, and we'll do the same thing. I'll just do an else here actually. We'll do the same thing for D as well, which will be covered by the else statement. Okay, now here for D, it will be 9 and here it will be 0, because when you add 1 to 9, we want it to come as 0, right? Yeah, now that's basically it. Now after that, we can just close all the loops and hope we don't miss anything. Now we can just output the elements in our vector. For I equal to 0, I less than a, I plus plus. We can output the elements like this. Now we want the elements right next to each other, so we will not be using end. Okay, so I guess that's basically it. Now let's try to run this. I'll just copy the code first. Okay, let's try. Guess we missed something. Guess something went wrong with the input, I guess. Let me just check again. Maybe in the input. Oh, it's I less than a actually. Okay, let's try again. Okay, here what happened is all the outputs came on the same line. So what we want to do is that after we finish outputting the numbers of each wheel, or basically of each lock, means I should say, we can use one endl after that. Okay, so like log 1 has 4 wheels, for example. After we output the initial sequence of all those 4 wheels, we can leave a line so that the output of the initial sequence of the next log won't come along with this. Okay, so I'll just do cout and just do endl here. It won't really make a difference. It'll just make sure that it comes on the next line. As you can see, now it works. The first one is 211. Wait, let's just compare this actually. Output is 211, 90 and 04, 969, and that's right. So I'll just copy this and submit. Okay, let's go and submit. And let me reload the page. Okay, my submission is not yet here. Let's reload this again. And there you go, Cypher. It's in queue. Oh, looks like the servers are running slow actually. Many people. Let's try again. Looks like there is something wrong with CodeChef's servers. I'll be back when this gets loaded. Okay, so unfortunately I won't be able to show you the submission as the server is not working now. Like almost there are 5 pages worth of submissions which are not yet done, like they're all in queue. So I'll just show you the submission I did earlier with the same code. Actually I just use the same logic and it's accepted. Okay, so yeah, that's how you solve this problem. If you have any recommendations to solve any other problems, do leave them down in the comment section below. And that's it for this video, and see you next time. Bye.